Ready for another deep dive? Today we're going a little off the beaten path, like really diving into a place you might not hear about every day.
Bangui.
Yeah, Bangui, Central African Republic. I don't know about you, but I get this itch to explore places that are like brimming with stories, a real unique energy. And Bangui seems like it has that in spades.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
Right. So we've got all these travel guides, articles, really digging into what makes Bangui tick. It's on the banks of the Ubangi River, this blend of cultures, landscapes, seriously fascinating stuff.
It's true, Bangui doesn't always make the headlines, but as the capital of the Central African Republic, it has this, well, a certain presence. But it's more than just politics, It's the character of the city that grabs you, this blend of modern life with traditions.
Right. That mix is always so cool to see. And speaking of mix, the way you get around Bangui sounds pretty interesting. You've got your Bangui Mpoko International Airport if you want the classic arrival. But then there's the Ben Jellies.
Ah, the Ben Jellies.
Which, if I'm getting this right, are motorcycle taxis.
Exactly. A true Bangui experience, you could say. But it's more than just a quirky way to get around. You've got buses, taxis, these motorcycle taxis. It all points to a city that's accessible, designed for everyone. And for those who really want to go all in, there are even road networks connecting to the neighboring countries.
Now, that's what I call an adventure. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, what about the food? What do our sources say about the culinary scene in Bangui?
Get ready for a flavor adventure, that's for sure. Bangui is all about this fusion of local tastes with, global influences. Think bustling street food stalls. You can find dishes like so-so.
Oh, so-so.
Yeah, it's a rice dish, often served with this amazing peanut sauce. Or there's mbongo.
Okay, I'm already intrigued.
Right. Mbongo's a stew. You can get it with smoked fish or meat, all these local herbs and spices. And then, of course, if you're feeling a little fancy, you've got places like Nokore, really elegant place with views of the river.
Now you're making me hungry.
Yep.
I'm all about finding those hidden gem restaurants, the ones that really capture the spirit of a place. But a city's more than just its food, right? What about after dark? What do we find out about Bangui's nightlife?
Oh, for sure. La Red Light is one that caught my eye, known for its live music and cocktails. Seems like the place to be when the sun goes down. But even beyond that, Bangui has this really diverse cultural scene, influences from all across Africa and beyond.
Those late-night spots can really give you a feel for a city, huh? But all right, let's switch gears a little. What about the landmarks, the places that scream Bangui? I saw something about the Notre Dame of Bangui Cathedral.
Oh, yeah, it's something else. More than just a religious site, it's like this architectural masterpiece, dominates the skyline, a real testament to the city's history, its faith.
Sounds breathtaking. There was a museum too, right? The Boganda Museum, I think it was called.
Right, the Boganda Museum. It's amazing, full of artifacts, stories, you name it, traditional musical instruments, old photos from the colonial era, everything. Gives you this real sense of the layers of history that make Bangui what it is. There was one exhibit that really caught my eye. It was all these intricately carved masks used in traditional ceremonies. So expressive, they could tell stories without even a word.
Wow, I can only imagine. That's what I love about museums, getting those tangible connections to the past. But we also saw hints of a really cool arts and music scene woven into the city, right?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, speaking of the Boganda Museum, a lot of local artists find inspiration from the collections there, blending those traditional techniques with more modern styles. And the music, if you're into that, Le Laisse is the place to be. It's this local hangout where you can experience the soul of Bangui through its music. Everything from traditional rhythms to Afrobeat.
Okay, you've convinced me. That music scene is going on the list. But we got to talk about those escapes into nature, right? What did we learn about the areas surrounding Bangui?
Oh, Bangui is surrounded by some seriously stunning natural beauty. Just a short hop from the city, you'll find Boali Falls. Imagine this. Cascading water, plunging into this lush green rainforest, a photographer's dream.
Sounds incredible, like something out of a movie. Any other natural wonders we shouldn't miss?
Absolutely. If you want to immerse yourself in wildlife, a trip to the Bimingwi Bangoran National Park is non-negotiable. It's home to elephants, lions, chimpanzees, you name it, they've probably got it. But it's more than just a chance to see amazing animals. The park's a real testament to conservation efforts. They've got this dedicated team of rangers and researchers working so hard to protect endangered species, fight against poaching. Their work is so important for preserving this ecosystem.
That's so great to hear. I love that we're showcasing a place that values its culture and its natural wonders equally. It adds another dimension to the whole experience. Speaking of experiences, you can't go to Bangui without a little shopping, right?
Of course not. Bangui's market scene is off the charts. Marche Central and Marché du Cam 5 are bursting with life, local crafts, textiles, spices, everything under the sun. It's a sensory overload in the best way possible.
All right, now you're speaking my language. I always gravitate towards those bustling markets. Best places to find one-of-a-kind souvenirs. Anywhere else our sources mentioned.
If you're after something a little more, well, upscale, Avenue Boganda is the spot. Boutiques, art galleries, you'll even find some international brands there.
So no matter your style or budget, Bangui has you covered. That's awesome. But before we get too caught up in the excitement, we need to talk practicalities, especially safety, especially for anyone thinking about a trip there.
Absolutely. It's clear from everything we read that Bangui welcomes visitors with open arms. But it's still important to be cautious, just like you would in any unfamiliar place. Be aware of your surroundings, especially in crowded spots. Maybe avoid walking alone at night.
Good advice for any traveler, no matter where they are. It's all about being present and respectful of your surroundings.
Exactly. And speaking of respect, embracing Bangui's culture means being mindful of local customs. Like, if you're visiting a religious site like that incredible cathedral we talked about, dress modestly.
Right, of course. It's about being a good guest, Those small gestures go a long way. Speaking of which, did our research say anything about the language? I mean, I know French is the official language, but what about everyday conversations?
You're spot on. French is widespread, for
Yeah.
sure. But out in the city, in the markets, you'll hear sango.
Sango.
Yeah. It's the heart and soul of daily life there. It's a beautiful language, very rhythmic. Even learning a few greetings can make a world of difference.
I love that. It's amazing how a few words can bridge those cultural gaps.
Yeah.
So we've covered so much about Bangui, its history, the food, that incredible nature, even the challenges. It's complex, that's for sure, but also really captivating.
It really is. It's one of those places that makes you rethink those preconceived notions, Bangui rewards those who are willing to dig a little deeper. And it reminds us that travel isn't about checking things off a list. It's about opening yourself up to new experiences, letting a place change your perspective.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Sounds like Bangui is more than just a place on a map. It's an experience that sticks with you. So for anyone listening who's feeling that pull to explore Bangui, what advice would you give them?
Embrace the adventure. Do your research, of course,
Yeah.
but go in with an open mind, ready to connect with the heart and soul of this incredible city. You won't regret it.
Beautifully said. Sometimes the best journeys are the ones that take us a little off the beaten path, right? To those hidden gems like Bangui. So to everyone listening, consider this your invitation to do just that. Explore, uncover the unexpected. Who knows, maybe Bangui will be your next adventure.